Have you ever yawned in the middle of a prayer? Have you ever felt that sudden pull of tiredness? The kind that makes you stretch your mouth wide open. Eyes begin to water, body slouches. And for a moment, you forget where you are? What if I told you that in that very moment, you could be opening the door to something unseen? What if I told you that Shaytan, yes, the very enemy who swore to mislead you, might find his opportunity when you yawn? This isn't a superstition. It's not folklore. It's a teaching of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose words are filled with divine wisdom. And today, we will uncover the truth. Is it literal? Is it metaphorical? Or is it something much deeper? Something that impacts your soul? Stay with me till the very end, because what you're about to hear might change how you understand even the smallest moments in your daily life. Yawning is something so ordinary, so human. We don't even think about it. A natural reflex, a simple sign of tiredness, boredom, or just needing air. But Islam teaches us that even the most mundane moments carry spiritual meaning. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Yawning is from Shaytan, so if one of you yawns, let him suppress it as much as he can." Sahih Bukhari. And in another narration, "If one of you yawns, let him cover his mouth with his hand, for the devil enters." Sahih Muslim. Pause. The devil enters? This sounds alarming, but also mysterious. How? Why? What does it really mean? Let's take a deep breath and reflect. First, let's understand the nature of Shaytan. From the very beginning of our existence, Shaytan declared war on mankind. When Allah created Adam alayhi salam, He commanded all of the angels to bow down. They obeyed, but Iblis, who was from the jinn, he refused, and from that moment he became cursed. He said, "Because you have put me in error, I will surely sit and wait for them on your straight path." Surah Al-A'raf 2. He didn't just reject the command, he swore to mislead us. From the front, the back, the right, and the left, and he's been doing it ever since. But the question is, why would he care about yawning? Why would something so harmless be a moment he takes advantage of? The answer lies in understanding weakness. When we yawn, we are vulnerable. We are distracted, our body is unfocused, and Shaytan loves nothing more than distraction. He doesn't just whisper during sin, he whispers during moments of neglect. The moment your concentration in Salah breaks, he's there. The moment you forget to say Bismillah before eating, he's there. The moment you scroll your phone and forget the adhan just called, he's there. And when you yawn, with your mouth wide open, unaware of your surroundings, Shaytan doesn't miss that. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't say it for no reason. He warned us because something does happen. But what exactly? Let's look deeper. There are 3 levels to this hadith, 3 meanings that scholars have explained. First, the physical meaning. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The devil enters." Some scholars, like Imam Nawawi, explain that this may not be a literal entry, as in, Shaytan does not physically enter your body every time you yawn. Rather, it's about his influence entering in that moment. You are open, exposed, not just your mouth, but your attention, your will, your strength of focus. And Shaytan enters into your thoughts, your intentions, your concentration. He weakens your grip. He leads you into heedlessness. One small moment could become a crack in your spiritual armor. The second meaning is symbolic. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Shaytan enters," it means he finds space in your life. Because yawning, especially excessive yawning, is tied to laziness, to heedlessness and lack of discipline. These are traits Shaytan loves. When you're lazy, you skip Salah. When you're heedless, you delay your obligations. When you're unmindful, you let go of dhikr. This is how he enters. Through your habits, through your inconsistency. It's not just about your mouth. It's about your mind and heart being wide open to his whispers. The third meaning is spiritual. Think about it. In every moment of weakness, Shaytan is watching. When you're strong in dhikr, when you're focused in salah, when you're committed to taqwa, he retreats. But when you start yawning, getting lazy, letting your focus drift, he becomes stronger. That's why our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to suppress the yawn, to cover your mouth, to resist the moment, because that small act shows discipline, shows awareness, shows that even in tiredness you remember Allah. And Shaytan hates that. Let's go deeper now. Have you ever noticed how yawning increases when you're listening to a lecture, or while reading Qur'an, or in salah. Isn't that strange? Why don't we yawn while scrolling Instagram or watching hours of movies? But when we stand to pray, suddenly the yawns come one after another. This is not a coincidence. This is Shaytan's subtle sabotage. The Prophet ﷺ warned us about this. He said, "Yawning is from Shaytan, and when one of you yawns, he should try to suppress it as much as possible. For when one of you says, 'Ha,' Shaytan laughs at him." Sahih Bukhari. Yes, you heard that right. Shaytan laughs at you when you yawn and say, "Ha," without control, because he sees victory in that moment. He sees a believer who's letting their guard down, a servant of Allah who's forgetting to be alert. But here's the beautiful part. Islam doesn't just warn you, it gives you solutions. The Prophet ﷺ didn't just say, "Don't yawn." He gave us steps to protect ourselves. Number 1, suppress the yawn. Try to hold it back. If you feel it coming, close your mouth, control your breath, tighten your lips. This is not just etiquette, it's spiritual training. You're showing Shaytan that you will not surrender to laziness. Number 2, cover your mouth. If you cannot suppress the yawn, then cover it with your hand or cloth. But don't leave it wide open. Why? Because that moment becomes a doorway. When your mouth is open, your focus drops, your adab weakens. Shaytan sees that and takes advantage. Number 3, say A'udhu Billah. When you feel distracted, say, A'udhu Billahi minash Shaytanir Rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Shaytan. This powerful dhikr is not just for anger. It's not just for waswasa. It's for any moment Shaytan tries to creep in. Even when you yawn. You see, our religion is one of awareness. It doesn't just tell you about salah and fasting. It teaches you about your breathing, your yawning, your habits, your small movements. Because in Islam, nothing is small. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that even smiling is charity. So what about suppressing a yawn to keep Shaytan away? That's not small. That's a form of jihad. Jihad of the self. Fighting laziness. Fighting distraction. Fighting heedlessness. That's why we are told, the strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. Although both are good, Sahih Muslim. Strength is not just in muscles, it's in discipline, and even in how you yawn. Now I want you to reflect. How many times in the last week did you yawn during salah? How many times did you cover your mouth? How many times did you say A'udhu Billah? This video is not about fear, it's about awareness. We're not saying that Shaytan jumps into your body like a ghost, but we are saying, and the Prophet ﷺ said, that yawning is a moment of spiritual risk, and if you don't guard that moment, Shaytan will. He will creep into your habits, into your thoughts, into your laziness, and little by little, he chips away at your discipline. That's how he wins, not through huge sins, but through repeated small negligence. But you are not helpless. You have the Sunnah. You have the words of the Prophet ﷺ. You have dhikr. You have awareness. And most importantly, you have the choice. The next time you feel a yawn coming, make it a moment of worship. Suppress it. Cover your mouth. Say A'udhu Billah. And smile, knowing Shaytan didn't get you. That's victory. That's taqwa. That's Islam. So far we've understood that yawning is not just a simple stretch of the mouth. It's a moment where Shaytan can slip in, not necessarily through the body, but through influence, weakness, distraction. But to cover our mouths and remember Allah. But now, we go one level deeper. Why does Shaytan laugh when we yawn? What does he gain? What does that moment say about our nafs, our inner self? And how can we make every yawn a tool against him? Let's uncover the hidden wisdom. The Prophet ﷺ said, when one of you yawns and says, "Ha," Shaytan laughs at him. Sahih Bukhari. Imagine that. The enemy who was expelled from Jannah, who refused to bow to your father Adam alayhis salam, who swore to misguide you until the day of judgment, laughs at you. Why? Because in that tiny moment of ha, you lost focus. You let your guard down. You gave in to tiredness, without resistance. And to Shaytan, that's a small victory. Because he doesn't need to make you commit a major sin today. He just needs you to stop fighting your laziness. Because if you stop fighting in the small moments, eventually he knows you'll fall in the big ones. Yawning is also linked to the body. Our nafs, our physical desires. When the body is full, we yawn. When the body is lazy, we yawn. When we've overeaten, overslept, or become heedless, yawning increases. That's why scholars say, yawning is from the nafs, and Shaytan uses the nafs as a weapon. It's in moments of ease, when we are most at risk, because we forget our purpose. Our energy drops, and Shaytan is always alert. But Islam doesn't want us to fear these moments. It wants us to be aware. The more you recognize Shaytan's tricks, the better you can defend yourself. So here's what you can do. Here are 5 practical ways to protect yourself from Shaytan's whispers during yawning and beyond. 1. Sleep with intention and sunnah. Yawning is often a result of poor sleep. Sleep with wudu. Say your night adhkar. Lie on your right side as the Prophet ﷺ did, and make the intention that your sleep is ibadah, to gain strength for worship. This will help reduce excessive yawning during the day, especially in salah. 2. Avoid overeating. The Prophet ﷺ taught us moderation. The son of Adam does not fill any vessel worse than his stomach. Tirmidhi, a full stomach makes the body lazy. It invites sleep, yawning, and eventually neglect. Eat less, eat light. Make room for air, water, and movement. Let food be your fuel, not your weakness. 3. Stay spiritually engaged. Boredom is a gateway, and Shaytan uses it well. Fill your time with something beneficial. Recite Qur'an. Watch an Islamic reminder. Reflect on your day. Make dhikr, because Shaytan works best when your mind is empty. Idle time is his playground. 4. React the sunnah way when you yawn. Don't just let it out. Suppress it. Cover your mouth. And if it happens in salah, pause briefly, gather yourself, and refocus. This act, though small, shows discipline. And Shaytan cannot stand discipline. He thrives on laziness and heedlessness. So show him strength. 5. Constantly say A'udhu Billah. Even if you're not yawning, this simple dhikr blocks his whispers. A'udhu Billahi minash Shaytanir Rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Shaytan. Say it before doing something important. Say it when you feel sleepy. Say it when you feel distracted. This dhikr is a shield. Use it often. Now imagine a believer who yawns during salah, but stops, covers their mouth, suppresses it, says A'udhu Billah, refocuses, and finishes with khushu. That's not a weak moment. That's a victory, because they resisted Shaytan, even in the most natural moment. That's taqwa in action. That's the power of being present. That's Islam. This world is full of distractions. The phone buzzes. The mind wanders. The soul tires. And yes, the body yawns. But our strength as Muslims is not in being perfect. It's in being aware. And in that awareness, you turn even yawning into an act of ibadah. You don't just live on autopilot. You live with purpose, even in your smallest moments. Because you know that Shaytan doesn't wait for big sins. He looks for small cracks, and your job is to seal those cracks with the sunnah. Let me ask you something now. How many of us used to yawn during salah and never thought twice? How many of us opened our mouths wide in the masjid, unaware that Shaytan was laughing? How many of us were completely exposed and didn't know? But now you do. And from this moment forward, you are no longer unaware. You're armed, you're alert, you're awake. And Shaytan, he's watching. But now, he's worried. Because when a believer begins to recognize the attack, when a believer begins to follow the sunnah in even the smallest acts, when a believer becomes mindful of Allah in a moment as small as a yawn, Shaytan loses. There is no moment in Islam too small to matter. Not a smile, not a greeting, not a glass of water, not even a yawn. Our religion is complete. It is beautiful. It trains you to live with awareness, excellence, ihsan. And that is how you live a life protected from Shaytan's traps. Not by being afraid, but by being mindful. So the next time you feel your eyes drooping, your mouth stretching, that familiar wave of fatigue rising, don't let your guard down. Suppress it, cover it, say the dhikr, and imagine Shaytan watching you, waiting for that moment of weakness, but finding only strength, finding only a servant of Allah, who is ready to fight even the smallest battle, because they know the road to Jannah is built with small victories. My dear brothers and sisters, this video wasn't just about yawning. It was about something greater. It was about turning ordinary moments into moments of remembrance. It was about catching Shaytan in the act, before he gets to you It was about becoming a believer who is awake. Even when they're tired, that's a Muslim. That's a fighter. That's a follower of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And now, if you watch till the end, you're already on that path. So next time you yawn, remember this moment and smile, because now you know the truth. Shaytan enters when you yawn, only if you let him. But you won't, not anymore. Jazakum Allahu khairan for staying till the end. May Allah bless your awareness. May He protect you from every whisper. May He make you among those who win, even in the smallest of tests. And don't forget, share this reminder with others, because someone you know might be yawning right now without realizing who's watching.